Hi, this is Low Vision Chef, and today we're going to be making a rosemary infused peach lemonade. So to begin with, we have to make the simple syrup. I've already pre-made the simple syrup and it's over here in a bottle because that simple syrup needs to infuse for at least an hour so that the rosemary flavors the simple syrup. But I'm going to throw together a secondary simple syrup here to kind of give you an idea of how to do that. You can either use a jar or you can use a squeeze bottle. I've used a squeeze bottle. If you use a jar, then at the end you can either remove the sprig or you can just run it through a strainer to get the rosemary out of it, because rosemary you might want to add as a garnish, but you probably don't want that infused rosemary sprig still staying in there. So now I'm just going to take my jar, my little mustard jar like you squeeze when you go to a restaurant in the old days, and I'm going to put a funnel in the top of it. And then I've got about a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add that to the funnel, or through the funnel, into the bottle. I'll let that have a chance to go through, and I can kind of hear it going through. Don't want to get in too big of a hurry because I've got to be patient with my funnel. Okay, and you can always make your funnel go a little bit faster by giving it a squeeze or two because it's silicone. Alright, so now I've got my sugar into the bottle. Now I want to get my water going as hot as possible over here at the sink. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill that bottle up most of the way, just putting my finger inside of it to check for the amount of water I've got in it, with as hot of tap water as possible. And then once I get that done, I'm going to stick my sprig of rosemary down inside of it and let it infuse for 1 hour to 24 hours. You could probably go a little bit longer if you wanted, but then the rosemary flavoring might get a little stronger than you like. I'm using my finger to feel how full this is. And I know this holds approximately 2 cups, give or take a little. We're not baking, we're cooking, so exact doesn't have to be exact. Okay, now I'm just going to take my bottle, and I've added my tap water, my hot tap water to it, and I'm going to take my bottle and I'm just going to insert my sprig of rosemary down into the bottle. And then I'm going to give it a shake or give it a stir, whatever works for you, whichever you feel most comfortable with. I'm putting the lid on top of it. I'm sealing it with the cap provided, and then I'm going to give it a shake. After I've shaken this really well, or stirred it, and you might want to shake it over a sink area, then I'm going to set it aside for an hour or so until it's infused nicely. Now I have a jug, which I have a couple of cups of ice in the bottom of. You can use a pitcher or a jug like I've got here. And I've got a silicone spoon, doesn't matter what kind of spoon that you use, and my simple syrup. And I'm going to take my simple syrup and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to squeeze it down into the ice. So as I said before, I'm squeezing it into the ice. And if you used a jar rather than using a squirt bottle to make your simple syrup, and this is a non-cooked simple syrup again, then you might want to use a strainer at this point, or if you feel comfortable just reaching into it and pulling out your sprig of rosemary, then that's fine too. And rosemary, just while I'm standing here gently squeezing this out, I want to tell you, is the one that seems like an evergreen. It actually almost smells a little bit like an evergreen to me. It's rather durable to grow, kind of rough, but it's easy to take off of the stem, and it has a very strong flavor to it, a very greeny flavor to it. You get it in a lot of Italian foods. So I think I've got the most of that out of here now. There we go. Okay, so simple as that. Simple as that with the simple syrup. Okay, the next thing I have to do to this is I've got 1 can, it's about the size of a Diet Coke can, of peach nectar, and I'm going to take that peach nectar and I'm going to pour that right into my jug, pitcher, or whatever. Just pour the whole thing in here. So 1 can of peach nectar. I believe it's like 10.5. It's the size of a Diet Coke can again. Okay, set that aside. And then I have squeezed about 3 lemons. Now I have about 6 or 8 here, but I'm going to put about a cup of lemon juice in here, or about 3 lemons total. And you can do this kind of by taste onto what you feel like you want, but that's about what I'm going to put in here. So I'm going to make another batch later. We liked this so much. And then the next thing that I have is approximately 2 extremely large peaches, and I've got them partially peeled. I didn't take all the peel off of them, and sliced into little wedges. Okay, so I just halved them and took them into wedges and took the seed out of the middle of them. And then I'm going to just take this flexible cutting board. I'm going to funnel this flexible cutting board, and then I'm just going to funnel them with the board right into the pitcher. Now, take that and put it to the sink. So that's really all there is to it. Now, if it's a warm day and the ice is going to melt on you, I'm stirring it up. While I'm stirring it up, I'll be quiet, or I will stop for a second so I can speak. But if you want to give it a taste, if it's a hot day and the ice is going to melt and you want a lot of ice in it, don't put water in it. But the recipe does call for, I believe, a cup to a cup and a half of water. Again, you can refer to that on the site. I've taken this. It's actually a little bit more unique off of the Cooking Network site from one of the chefs there. And I adapted it to make it just a little bit easier for low vision and blind people. And of course, you don't want to have to cook your simple syrup. So my rosemary peach lemonade is all made and it's ready to drink. Thank you. And this is a wonderfully refreshing drink for the summertime. Have a wonderful day and thank you for visiting Low Vision Chef. Keep cooking.